Right now, there is a lot of tension in the automotive world, and many people are talking about what is happening between Matt Armstrong and some of the biggest car manufacturers in the world. What started as a simple car rebuild project has slowly turned into something much bigger, something that fans believe could involve powerful companies trying to protect their image and control. Matt Armstrong is known for taking damaged or unusual cars and rebuilding them in ways that many people think are impossible. His videos are not just about fixing cars, they are about challenging what manufacturers say can or cannot be done. Recently, he worked on a Bugatti Chiron and showed that it was possible to split the car in a normal garage using basic tools. This was a big moment because the CEO of Bugatti had earlier said that such a process could only be done in a few specialized facilities around the world. When Matt proved this wrong, the video quickly went viral and millions of people watched it. Fans were excited because it felt like someone was finally questioning the strict control that luxury car brands have over their vehicles. But instead of responding, Bugatti stayed completely silent. There was no official comment, no explanation, and no reaction at all. This silence made people even more curious. Then, just a few weeks later, something unexpected happened with Matt's Ferrari project. He had been working on converting a Ferrari 296 into a challenge-style car and had already ordered many parts successfully. Everything seemed normal at first, but suddenly Ferrari blocked him from buying the final and most important parts. This sudden change raised many questions. Why did Ferrari allow him to order most of the parts and then stop him at the last moment? Was it just a coincidence, or was there something more happening behind the scenes? These events, happening so close together, have led many fans to believe that there could be a connection between the two situations. To understand why people are suspicious, it is important to look at the timeline of events. Matt had been working on the Ferrari project for a long time before the Bugatti video became popular. During that time, Ferrari's system allowed him to order many parts without any issues. He received items like the rear bumper, diffuser, wing, and side skirts without any problems. This shows that, at least in the beginning, Ferrari did not see anything wrong with his project. However, after the Bugatti video gained attention and showed that manufacturer claims could be challenged, Ferrari suddenly changed its approach. When Matt tried to order the remaining parts, including the front bumper, wider fenders, radiator, and bonnet, every single order was blocked. This change did not make sense to many viewers because nothing about the Ferrari project itself had changed. The only major difference was the attention Matt received after proving Bugatti wrong. Fans began to connect these events and started asking whether Ferrari noticed what happened with Bugatti and decided to act differently to avoid a similar situation. While there is no direct proof of communication between the companies, the timing makes people question whether Ferrari acted independently or was influenced by what happened earlier. In industries like luxury cars, companies often keep a close eye on each other. Executives attend the same events, share the same spaces, and are aware of major news that affects their competitors. When something big happens, like a viral video that challenges a brand's authority, it does not go unnoticed. So it is possible that Ferrari saw what happened and decided to be more careful. Even if there was no direct coordination, the situation shows how quickly companies can react when they feel their control might be challenged. Another important part of this story is how the audience reacted. The comments under Matt's videos reveal a lot about what people are thinking. Many fans do not believe Ferrari's official explanation, which suggested that the parts were blocked because of VIN mismatch issues. Instead, they believe the decision was intentional and possibly connected to the earlier Bugatti situation. Some comments even warn Matt to be careful, suggesting that Ferrari could take legal action if he continues the project. Others recommended finding parts from unofficial sources, including international markets, where manufacturers have less control. There were also comments mocking Ferrari's decision, saying that independent builders could recreate or even improve the parts that Ferrari refuses to sell. These reactions show a growing frustration among car enthusiasts. Many people feel that manufacturers are too controlling and do not allow owners to fully use or modify their own vehicles. They see Matt Armstrong as someone who is challenging that system and exposing how it works. This is why his videos get so much attention. He is not just fixing cars, he is showing what is possible when someone questions the rules. However, it is also important to understand the other side. Car manufacturers often have strict policies for a reason. They need to ensure safety, maintain brand reputation, and protect their designs. High-performance cars are complex machines, and using parts in ways they were not designed for can lead to serious risks. So while fans may see this as unfair control, companies may see it as necessary responsibility. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle, but the way these events happened has made many people focus more on the idea of control rather than safety. The idea that Bugatti and Ferrari might be working together against Matt Armstrong is interesting, but it is important to be careful when discussing it. There is no clear evidence that the two companies have communicated about him or made any joint decisions. There are no leaked messages, no official statements, and no proof of coordination. What exists is a pattern of events that happened close together and created a strong impression. Sometimes, people connect events because they happen at the same time, even if they are not directly related. However, in this case, the situation is complicated because both companies operate in the same high-level environment. They are part of the same industry, face similar challenges, and care about similar things like brand image and customer perception. When one company faces a public challenge, others naturally pay attention. It does not require direct communication for companies to react in similar ways. They can observe what happens and make their own decisions based on that information. In this situation, Ferrari may have simply decided to avoid a risk. After seeing how Matt's Bugatti video affected public opinion, they might have thought it was better to limit his ability to complete the Ferrari project. From a business point of view, this makes sense. Companies want to avoid situations where their authority or policies are questioned in a public and viral way. By blocking the remaining parts, Ferrari could reduce the chances of another high-profile challenge. This does not prove coordination, but it does show how companies can respond quickly to protect themselves. There is also a legal side to this situation that cannot be ignored. If Ferrari believes that Matt is using parts in a way that goes against their terms, they may have the right to take action. For example, using race-specific parts on a road car could violate certain agreements or regulations. There could also be concerns about trademarks if the finished car is presented in a way that looks official when it is not. These are serious issues for manufacturers because they affect how the brand is seen by the public. However, taking legal action can also create problems. It can lead to negative publicity and make the company look like it is targeting individuals. In today's world, where social media plays a huge role, public opinion matters a lot. If people feel that a company is being unfair or too aggressive, it can damage the brand's image. This is why some believe that blocking parts is a smarter strategy. It allows the company to control the situation without creating a big public conflict. Instead of going to court, they can quietly limit what the builder can do. This approach may not stop all criticism, but it avoids turning the situation into a bigger story. For Matt Armstrong, this creates a challenge, but also an opportunity. His audience is interested in how he deals with these obstacles, and every problem becomes part of the story. This is one of the reasons why his content is so popular. People are not just watching a car build, they are watching a real situation unfold with real challenges and real consequences. In the end, the situation between Matt Armstrong, Bugatti, and Ferrari highlights a larger issue in the automotive world. It raises questions about who really controls a car after it is sold. Do owners have the freedom to modify and rebuild their vehicles however they want, or do manufacturers still have the final say? This is not a new debate, but it is becoming more visible because of creators like Matt who share their work with millions of viewers. His projects bring attention to policies that many people were not aware of before. Whether or not there is any coordination between companies, the reaction to his work shows that manufacturers are paying attention. They are aware that their decisions are being watched and discussed by a global audience. At the same time, fans are becoming more interested in understanding how these systems work. They are asking questions, sharing opinions, and forming their own conclusions. This creates a new kind of relationship between companies and customers, one where transparency matters more than ever. The story is still developing, and it is not clear what will happen next. Will Matt find a way to complete his project? Will Ferrari change its decision? Will other manufacturers take similar steps in the future? These questions keep the audience engaged and make this situation more than just a simple car build. It becomes a story about control, innovation, and the balance between creativity and rules. No matter what the final outcome is, one thing is certain. This situation has started a conversation that is not going away anytime soon. One of the most interesting aspects of this situation is how it reflects a growing shift in the relationship between creators and large companies. In the past, car manufacturers controlled almost everything about their vehicles, from how they were built to how they were repaired and modified. Information was limited, tools were restricted, and only authorized dealers had full access to parts and technical knowledge. But today, creators like Matt Armstrong are changing that dynamic. With cameras, social media, and millions of viewers, they are able to document processes that were once hidden behind closed doors. When Matt took apart a Bugatti Chiron in a regular garage and showed the entire process step by step, it was not just a mechanical achievement, it was a moment of transparency. It showed people that something described as impossible might actually be possible with the right approach. This kind of content challenges the traditional authority of manufacturers, not by directly attacking them, but by simply showing what can be done. For companies, this creates a difficult situation. On one hand, they want to protect their brand, maintain high standards, and ensure safety. On the other hand, they are now operating in a world where independent creators can reach millions of people and influence public opinion very quickly. This shift means that companies can no longer rely only on official statements or controlled environments. They have to consider how their actions will be seen and discussed online. In the case of Ferrari and the Ferrari 296 GTB project, the decision to block parts may have been influenced not just by technical or legal concerns, but also by the awareness that the entire process was being watched by a global audience. Every decision becomes part of the story, and every action can be interpreted in different ways. This is what makes the situation so complex. It is not just about a car build anymore. It is about control, perception, and the power of visibility in the digital age. At the same time, it is important to understand that luxury car manufacturers like Ferrari and Bugatti operate under very different conditions compared to regular car brands. Their vehicles are not just transportation. They are symbols of status, engineering excellence, and exclusivity. Every detail is carefully designed and controlled to maintain a certain image. This is why they often have strict rules about how their cars can be modified, repaired, or even resold. From their perspective, allowing unrestricted modifications could lead to situations where their brand is associated with something that does not meet their standards. For example, if a modified car fails or performs poorly, people might still connect that failure to the original brand. This risk becomes even greater when the project is highly visible, like in Matt Armstrong's videos. Millions of viewers are watching every step, and any issue becomes public instantly. This creates pressure for manufacturers to protect themselves. However, this approach can also create frustration among car enthusiasts. Many people believe that once they buy a car, they should have the freedom to do whatever they want with it. They see restrictions as unnecessary control rather than protection. This difference in perspective is at the heart of the current debate. On one side, there are companies trying to maintain their image and ensure safety. On the other side, there are creators and fans who value creativity, experimentation, and freedom. The situation with Ferrari blocking parts highlights this conflict very clearly. It shows how difficult it is to balance these two viewpoints, especially in a world where everything is shared and discussed online. Looking ahead, this situation could have a lasting impact on how manufacturers deal with independent builders and content creators. If cases like this continue to gain attention, companies may need to rethink their strategies. One possible outcome is that manufacturers become even more strict, limiting access to parts and information to prevent similar situations in the future. Another possibility is that they adapt and find ways to work with creators instead of against them. Collaborations could allow companies to maintain control while still benefiting from the exposure and engagement that creators bring. For example, instead of blocking parts, a company could set clear guidelines and support certain projects under specific conditions. This would create a more balanced approach, where both sides benefit. For creators like Matt Armstrong, this situation is also a turning point. It shows that their work has real impact and can influence how large companies behave. At the same time, it highlights the challenges they face when dealing with powerful brands. Every decision they make can lead to new opportunities, but also new obstacles. For viewers, this makes the content even more interesting. It is no longer just about watching a car being rebuilt. It is about following a real story with real consequences. The uncertainty of what will happen next keeps people engaged and invested. Will Matt find alternative ways to complete his Ferrari project? Will Ferrari change its approach or remain firm in its decision? Will other manufacturers take similar steps if they face similar situations? These questions remain unanswered, but they are exactly what keeps the conversation alive. In the end, this story is not just about one person or two companies. It is about a changing industry where control, creativity, and public perception are constantly interacting. And as long as creators continue to push boundaries and share their work, situations like this will continue to shape the future of the automotive world. As this situation continues to grow, it also highlights how powerful storytelling has become in the automotive world. In the past, car news was mostly controlled by magazines, official press releases, or television shows. Today, however, creators like Matt Armstrong can tell their own stories directly to millions of viewers without any filter. This changes everything.